I'm gonna teach you all the tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your air fryer. We're gonna start off with some coconut shrimp. It is such a favorite when you order it at the restaurant, but it's never quite as good when you make it at home. If you fry it, it's greasy, it's messy, it takes forever. If you bake it, it's just womp womp, but not with your air fryer. That is what you wanna use it for. Let's get started. We're gonna have our standard breading procedure, starting off with some flour, garlic powder, and some salt. Next, we have our egg wash. And then for our last step of the breading procedure, which is what gives the coconut shrimp its coconutiness, is our coconut panko. Put about a cup of each, and we're gonna drizzle it with a little bit of oil. I'm gonna put on a glove, stir that around, coat it in that oil. So we're gonna do wet hand, dry hand. That is key in any standard breading procedure. So this is wet, so I'm using my wet hand, putting it in the flour. I'm gonna put a few. Dry hand, that's taking my dry hand, putting it in the wet. Now use my wet hand, toss it together. Get it nice and coated with that egg. Drain off your excess. Press to adhere to your shrimp. You want it nice and coated. All right, first batch. We can just whip up the rest while it's cooking. So we take out our basket, spray it with cooking spray. And because we have already toss these in oil, we don't have to spray them with cooking spray. Make sure to leave plenty of room between your food items in your air fryer because you want the air to circulate. They won't get crispy if they're too close together. We want 360 degrees for about 2 to 3 minutes per side. We'll start with 3, and then we'll flip it and maybe turn it over and maybe cook for 1 or 2. We heard our dinner bell. They're already starting to brown a little bit. You can see some crispy bits. So we're gonna flip them over, but be gentle. You don't want your topping to come off. Put it back in. 360 again, and we're gonna do 2 more minutes. All right, let's check them out. Look, they look crispy. Ooh, they feel crispy. They've got golden edges. They look perfect. I am so excited to try these. These are just gonna be served with a really super easy sweet chili sauce with ketchup and a little lime juice. It's like the easiest thing in the world. Spritz it with a little lime and you are in business for your party. Might just invite some friends over to eat right now. Next, let's try some chicken fingers in our air fryer. We're going to marinate them in a buttermilk mixture, just for a little bit, just to keep them tender. Tender, get it? We're gonna mix some buttermilk in this Ziploc, a little bit of oil, kosher salt, and grated garlic. Kind of swirl these things around a little bit. Now put your chicken in, zip it up, get some air out, and then just like that. You're gonna allow this to sit for about 30 minutes, which will let the flavors really permeate the chicken and the buttermilk to tenderize it. While your chicken is doing its thing, we'll make its breading. We're gonna mix panko, Parmesan cheese, and that little oil that we saw earlier. Toss those together, make sure that they're nice and coated. We've made our breading. Let's continue on with the rest of our dinner for 1. We have some sweet potato fries, some broccoli florets that we're gonna season with oil, salt, and pepper. All right, that's tossed up, and I believe our chicken should be done by now, so let's get to breading it. And we don't need to do an egg wash or a flour step with the buttermilk base. Let's get our hands dirty. Put that in the middle, leave a little space like we had talked about before, and we'll add our fries and broccoli. Now it's gonna look a little crowded, but that's okay. We're still gonna get good color on things. Let's do a quick little spritz. Now let's put this in our fryer. So these are gonna go at 400 for 6 minutes per side on our chicken. And our broccoli and our fries are gonna stay in there the whole time. Broccoli's getting a little bit of color on it already. We're getting a little crispy on our French fries. Let's flip our bird. And we're gonna put it in for another 6 minutes at 400. Look at this beautiful dinner for 1 that you prepared in your air fryer. Try one of these. Next, we're gonna have dessert from our air fryer, and we're gonna make cinnamon biscuits. We've made an appetizer to stop our bellies from grumbling. We've made dinner, and now it's time for dessert, everyone's favorite meal of the day. The air fryer does that too because it's an oven and you bake things in ovens, so it's perfect for it. We're going to make cinnamon biscuits with glaze on top. Flour, sugar, baking powder, kosher salt, and my favorite ingredient of anything, cinnamon. We're gonna whisk those together. Got some chilled butter here that we've cut into pieces. Toss it around so that it's coated with the flour. We're gonna cut that butter in with our pastry blender. We're looking for small peas here. This is classic biscuit making technique. All right, we're getting there. We're getting real close. Manageable pieces. Now we're going to add milk to this dough. Stir this around. It's going to come together, but it may need a little bit of coaxing. Resist the urge to add more liquid, and that is because we don't want a tough biscuit. The little bit of liquid will come together. Get your hands in here. You're just gonna lightly knead. It's not gonna knead like a loaf of bread because we don't want that much gluten development. We're in a good place here. Next, we're gonna cut these into 8 pieces. They're gonna look kind of like mini scones, but they're gonna have a glaze on them. Okay, now we're ready to bake these. Have our handy dandy air fryer that's done so much work for us. Spray it. We're gonna place them in. These are gonna bake at 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes. Oh my goodness. I really smell that cinnamon and it's so great. Look at all those flaky layers. That is the butter and that's the cutting in that's using that pastry blender and kneading it really well and not adding too much liquid. I'm gonna let these sit for about just a couple minutes just to get that initial heat off, and then we're gonna glaze them. So these are pretty much if a biscuit and a cinnamon roll had a baby. So impressed that my air fryer was able to do this. Thank you for joining me on this journey, this discovery of air fryers and what they can do for us. We were able to recreate our favorite coconut shrimp from our local restaurant. We were able to make dinner for one without heating up the entire kitchen. And we even made a cute little dessert. I hope you learned a lot about your air fryer and what you can and can't do. Comment below about what you're going to put in your air fryer. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.